in this lesson, we will finish animating the heroine's center of gravity. So we're almost there. After we're finished with this, we can then add some subtlety to the torso, animating the hips and the chest, and then we can move to the head. And then our last task will be to take care of the arms. So let's go ahead and get started by grabbing the center of gravity. And before we set any keys, we want to play back the animation to get an idea of what should happen. All right, so this momentum naturally should start moving forward after this pose on 26. She is very skilled, but at the same time, she's not skilled enough to defy the laws of physics. So we need to make sure that we keep her momentum going as long as it needs to move. So I've just brought her forward slightly on 29, and now we can have her recoil back a few frames after, say on 41. Just start to translate her back and up. Since she's moved forward and down on 29, we have to think about her landing and then coming in and moving forward. So she's going to drop just a little bit there on 29 and then come back up on 41. And then by the time we get to 55, again, we can drop her and bring her forward, but not as much. So here's what we end up with when we play this back. Very nice. I'd say it's almost there. I like to just lift her up a bit higher on 41. And then when we get to 55, I like to just bring her up a bit higher here so she doesn't sink too low. Let's hit play and take a look. Much better. Now to fix this flow, we could always take a look at our curve editor. Let's go ahead and right click and move to our position tracks. Okay, so taking a look at the y-axis here, you see that when we start to tweak the keyframe, let me go ahead and zoom in. If we were to start to tweak this key on 29, that's what actually moves her forward and back. All right, so what we want then is to have some smooth movement when she lands and comes to this key. So what that means is that we just need to fix the flow on the key before, right here on 26. Let's go ahead and just drag that up a bit more and make sure that the tangency causes the F-curve to flow smoothly to that key on 29. Very nice. Could also do the same for the other tracks, just checking to make sure everything is nice and fluid. You can see here in the Z-axis, could actually remove that key on 24 to smooth things out a bit. Let's go ahead and check the X-axis. And again, we have another key right there on 24. Let's move to that frame and then remove the key so we can see what it does, what change it makes, and it actually keeps her balanced, so that's nice. She comes in. Great. Now speaking of balance, you can see that the left foot is over a bit too far. So let's go ahead and fix that. We'll go to 24 and just bring it a little bit more over to our right. And then I'll also rotate the ankle out in that direction. We don't need this key on 26. You can see when we get to it, it slides back, but we really don't need it. So I'll just right click and delete it. And there we have it. So we have animated the position of the center of gravity. So let's now add some rotation. We really just need to be concerned with what we see in the side view, because remember, following this, we'll go ahead and animate our chest and hip controls. So we're just focusing on what would be noticeable at this point. And we'll have this offset from our position keys. So let's say on frame 30, we go ahead and rotate her forward just slightly, since she's moving in that direction. Now, as she starts to move back, we can go ahead and rotate her back one frame after on 42, but not much. And then let's bring her down on 55. And here's what we end up with. Great. I'd almost like to delay this key on 42 just one more frame, just to make sure that her center of gravity is a bit looser. Beautiful. And then on 55, I'd like to just rotate her back ever so slightly so she doesn't rotate too far forward. We're just cushioning this motion out. Very nice. So there we have it. We have finished animating her center. So now it's time to build from there. In the next lesson, we will work on animating the torso.